No.
John, can you hear us? John, can you hear us? Liz, I'm going to go out to, oh yeah, I think he's connecting his audio now.
Yeah.
John, you can hear us, right?
You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yep, I hear you.
I'm just going to go out into the hall to make sure, because we actually changed the room at the last minute. So I want to see if Evie and Sandy are out there.
Okay.
So how's the weather today, John? I heard you're getting a lot of rain.
Yeah, the last 5 days it's been tropical, you know.
Put him up on that big screen.
Periods of heavy rain and the sun.
Yeah,
Tropical.
So
That's the sun down here, I
you
guess.
can hear him.
yeah, like it's Marco Island, but get like 6 inches, crazy.
After that, it hadn't rained, it was burning up, it was dry.
Yeah.
10 days went it all here.
So do you go away in the summer?
So how's the new place, John?
Say again?
So how's the new place?
Oh, fantastic. It'd be,
Probably October for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Do it
we
every
want to
year.
come down and visit in like September for our anniversary.
yeah, they say the weather breaks the middle of September. I think
You
on
can wait
at least in central Florida here,
Take a cruise every year.
Oh, yeah.
in
And
October, November, April, and
didn't
May. You
happen
know,
last year,
Yeah.
and they canceled it this year.
They did?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people come over with us when you have a pool in your backyard. So that's my grandkids.
Oh, yeah.
They're there all the time, so I enjoy that. So
Okay,
I don't do too much.
good morning.
Morning, how are ya?
Hey,
Nice to see everyone.
I know.
Real people. Oh, my God. I love it.
Awesome.
So I have John Krowecki. I was thinking about putting him up on a
You're
bit.
short timer,
I am, got 11 working days
huh? Wow.
left. Can't come soon. As you know.
So what are your big plans?
Well, in July, I'm just gonna, spend a few weeks down the Cape. And, after that, I'm just going to,
Get used to being
get
retired.
back to my life. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
figure out
Play
who
with
I
their
am,
dogs.
You know, and the dogs, you know, I've got 2 10-month-old, 11, they were almost 11.
Wow.
Manny just got spayed yesterday, he's up till 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, very, you know, they need attention, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the grandkids, the pool, and all the stuff.
Yeah, same here, yeah.
It's all good. I'm happy.
Although my grandkids are old. Graduate high school.
Yeah, how old's your youngest?
That's right.
How old's your youngest grandchild? No,
She's good.
no, how old is your
Oh,
youngest
the
grandchild?
others, I have hearing aids on order.
That's okay. How old is
Oh,
your
no, I heard
youngest?
that. She's,
I say
they're
that before.
18, 16, 14, and the other one's gonna 12
Yeah,
next month. Yeah.
so is it true that as soon as they turn kind of 12, they kind of like, they're off onto their own lives?
One of them, the one's right across the street from it.
Oh, okay, so
They're
you're in
18 and
proximity.
16. This is one, they're right across the street. I haven't even seen them much.
Yeah, yeah.
They come up with their friends as they're going to play.
Morning.
Hey
Hi,
there.
Abby, you look like a ray of sunshine.
A ray of sunshine in my beak.
Yeah, right.
I know, it's very, very pretty.
Then I'm like, well, what do I wear with it? I mean, it's like
White, yeah.
white,
Can we spend a
Brown.
few minutes after this meeting?
sure. White, brown.
Let's just give this to Liz.
Yeah.
I've got the brown.
I'll do it, I'll do it.
Oh, no, I'll take care of it.
Brown
Yeah.
or black?
Little informally,
Can you get John on?
yeah, I got John and Liz because we have a lot of retirees coming with address verifications. So I told her why don't you stay upstairs? I don't want to, you know, them to have to hang around. You know, sometimes it's a real big thing for them to just come in. So, so basically, and I'm recording it. So,
Okay, okay. Bring a tissue.
you need Kleenex? I can get you one.
Right, I was like.
Yeah, I know.
It's amazing how quickly everything gets back to normal. I was here until 9:30 last night,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
on and on and on. And Steve, who's one of the wardens at the elections, and he works.
Yeah, he's our night monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna be the night
He's gonna
monitor
be,
now?
well, for now, he's gonna be Monday and Tuesday.
I don't know.
Oh, really? No.
I mean, last night he's looking at me because I know him from the election. So he's a
Yeah.
really nice guy,
Yeah.
really great guy. And he said, oh, he's
Oh,
because they kept going on. And it's always Greg Smith from the RTS.
oh,
He does his whole big, huge, hour-long presentation about everything they're doing and.
Did you say it's only the dump?
so,
Yeah, oh, God, but really, you should hear them. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's good that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
so
yeah.
interested in it.
Doing a good
and,
job there.
Enthusiastic about it. But. Anyway,
so the meeting went to 9:30.
it was 9:20, so did good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
John in his car.
Was he in a golf cart?
Does he have his,
It's in his car, it's in his car.
device?
In the car.
Oh, hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hi. How's Florida? That's a lot.
Yeah. How's the weather down there? What's the temperature?
Tropical, in the mid 90s every day, and it rains every few hours, and the sun comes out. It just started in the last week or so like that. The first 10 days was bone dry.
As loud as I can get it.
They certainly can.
My idea of fun. It's too hot.
We were down there in April, the end of April, and it was like 90 every day, but it wasn't that bad. But now
Yeah.
they say it's gonna get worse and worse. That gets, it's really humid.
I like
so.
to be out of here by March. Up to March, I won't be there.
Okay, call the meeting to order.
Sure.
You don't have to read that thing.
No.
Yeah.
Do you have to state that he's attending remotely
Okay,
to let the minutes show?
Mr. Krowecki, one of our board members, is attending via remote, and one of our staff members as well. Okay. The May board meeting minutes, I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I forgot we don't do a roll call anymore. Sorry.
Change your name.
It's gonna take me a while. to
When I
do
said
first.
opposed, you said aye.
No, I didn't mean that. I would have said. nay.
Take that back, okay.
Now that back, I was for that, Elizabeth.
We're gonna go back to the computers.
Well, I guess, oh, he hasn't signed it yet.
Yeah, but I heard that it's on
He's
stuff.
gonna sign it, or they can continue.
Yeah, so it's
Remote.
time in 22.
Okay, attachment A,
Anyway, this is another thing too. I used to have a hard time going through, I can.
do I have a motion on attachment A?
Motion to accept.
I go through everything so fast, and I know, I'll get used to it.
Do I have a second?
second,
Okay, Mr. Bucky, second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Unanimous. Payroll warrants. $1,163,923.65. Yeah, it did.
Seen a little uptick in retirements from last year.
the Fed tax thing is up.
Yeah, and we got more probably once all the June retirements hit.
Motion, accept.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second, further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Unanimous. Expense warrant. $114,371.10, and the big one is the math teachers, 38C. And I asked Jake and Liz that you verified this amount. Sigrid and Elizabeth Benchman.
Maybe we pay Mike Sacco for. I mean.
that's a little high, yeah.
Which one?
Mike Sacco.
Sacco.
Oh, it was, I have the invoices, of course, but it was really due to all of our disabilities.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
And
had
then-
Chris here,
Yeah, we did.
he drafted the letters. That's,
Does this include the young man attending our meeting last month? Or does that come on? the
yeah,
next
I
one?
believe that includes, yeah, 'cause it was, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he really did well.
Motion, accept.
Have a motion. Second? But John second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Okay, update statement, Mr. Morals, what's cooking in the market?
Well, it's gone from 207 to 230. Well, the market's holding up, it's at all-time highs. Well, it backed off yesterday, but it's at all up. Well, the 50%, it's kind of hard not to make money. Going forward, it's surprising that, everybody's seeing how strong the economy is, and all these reports are favorable, yet the market has really taken off. I think what happened was people anticipated that and bought into the market, and now, but so far so good.
probably the timber is helping us.
No, timber is putting us over the top. I mean, without that,
See,
Where would we
you
be?
always tactical on the
It
timber.
was just one thing, when they came to us and said, going to buy trees, I'm like, what?
except
Tree City.
Second,
I have a motion, a second, any further discussion? No, and it became, it's become like, excuse me, they tease me because I was always saying, I don't really think we should be into the market, into the business of buying trees. We buy entire forests, I guess, I don't really know how it works.
yeah, every time they had a forest fire.
It's right, is it our trees that are burning? I mean,
and every time the representatives from Fripp would be here, you'd be like, timber, why are we in timber?
Yeah.
oh,
And it keeps-
okay, you wanna take a look at the budget, see what we got cooking here? Reconciliation.
The only question I had, was on page 27. And all those outstanding checks for Randall, what?
Oh, I can speak to that. In
Okay.
fact, I was thinking about taking a ride up there tomorrow. Albert Randall, I visited him last year. He lives in Arlington. Evie kind of knew about it. And that's when Marty and I was during the Rex last month or a few weeks back. And I said, I should take a ride up there. He's a little bit eccentric. I had to knock on his door a few times. A neighbor across the street came out. She said, can I help you? And I said, well, is this Albert Randall's house? Does he live here? Is he around? And she said, oh yeah, you have to go up the driveway and he'll hear you. So she took me up the driveway and he did hear us through the window. He came out, no shirt on, but that's okay. It was a summer day. And at that point, I was giving him his paper checks because I was holding them for a while. But he said, no, just send them to me. So he said, okay, but I know he's not going to the bank because they're not getting deposited or cash. So I want to take a ride up there, maybe tomorrow, and, but I have to feel, not tomorrow, I'm sorry, Friday. After, but just to kind of do, you know, I might have the police be with me just to do like a wellness check. I don't want to alarm him. I just want to know if he has a hardship. I've offered the direct deposit aspect to him before. He doesn't want to do that, but I can't hold on to his checks forever. So
Well, I don't think you really.
Yeah. I had even
Let me
called
bring it
the Arlington Town Hall to make sure he's still alive. And they
yeah, I
said,
mean, technically, hold on one second, Liz. Technically, I could always void them, do one bigger check if there's ever an issue. And I just don't want them, sometimes the banks, if a check is written 6 months prior, and there's, sometimes the bank can reject it. I just don't want to, you know, get into any of that.
Does he have an extra Ken on?
By the way, nothing, we don't have any benefit, Liz can speak to it, but we have, his phone number is out of service, no email, he is older, no beneficiary. And I think that's probably why the neighbor kind of almost keeps an eye out. She was very nice. I don't have her name, but
Oh, well.
so I'm kind of lost for words, really, why these people don't cash their checks. But
Well, I mean, can you ask the neighbor if
yeah,
she knows of anyone that is helping him? or
yeah. In
getting
fact,
him
she was the one
food
who
or
offered
bringing
to
him-
take him to the bank last time. I was actually giving him his paper checks last time, but now we've been sending them. But that's all I know.
Where do you work? What's the-
Liz, are you in PTG? Liz,
Yep.
where did Albert Randall, what unit did he work in?
Let's see.
where is it?
Also Dick Witz,
And Dick Wood.
Yeah,
He's a
Richard
hospital.
Witz.
Yeah,
He was a hospital.
You okay?
Richard Witz. Liz, did you say Richard Witz is in the hospital?
No. Reynolds division. He worked for the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Glover.
I did give you a nice update on Richard Witz. So I was told his check too, because he was staying at the Red Roof Inn. I don't know the whole story with his house in Spencer, but Liz informed me that he was staying at the Red Roof Inn. So we tried to give him his checks about a month and a half ago, and he took a fall and went to the hospital. Then Liz, I said, we need to get in touch with him. We talked to Red Roof Inn. He had returned from the hospital, which is good. So the other day, I did the checks up to him, and he actually asked me to drive him over to Wegmans, so I drove him over to Wegmans too. And that's in Natick, so it's only a skip and jump from where the Red Roof Inn is. But so he seems to be doing okay. That day he was going from Wegmans. I thought he was going to ask me to take him shopping. I would have, but he was actually picking up the bus to go to the VA. And West Hartford. So at least I was able to give him his checks. He was very appreciative of that. I put his walker and stuff in the car, and I drove him over to Wegmans. But so he seems to be doing okay. I didn't get into his in the car. I didn't want to ask him personal questions.
Yeah.
Dick was our custodian here at the end of his career. Our custodian back when we had this building remodeled.
That was a nice little. That's what- that's-
Yeah. I didn't want to ask him about the whole, like, why he's at the Red Roof Inn, what's going on in his house. I don't want to, you know, get into that.
Yeah, no, we can't, but I just.
Vermont.
That was quite a while. How long-
Bramante is, she's the
No, I said,
one,
how long you been here? It was quite a while.
that one I
ago.
have to follow up with.
Oh, yeah. I've
Bank
been
of
here since
America.
2002.
Because she was the one who nobody informed us. She passed away back in March of 2020. And I initiated through the reclamations department. Evie's asked me about Anne Bramante.
Vermont.
Bramante is a woman who unfortunately passed away back March 2020. She notified us, but when we didn't get correspondence back, I decided to hold her checks. but I did do about 8 direct deposits. Now, Evie is intimate to some of the backside operational stuff. I contacted Bank of America on the advice of Michael Sacco. They have a reclamations department. I wanted to see if we could pull back those funds if they were not accessed. And the people I talked to then, I have a case number back to follow back up with Bank of America. They said the funds are still there and that it takes months for them to extract the funds. She has a granddaughter.
Yeah.
We tried to contact, I know I have her contact information. She's never returned any calls. That was another thing I asked Michael Sacco about. Should we send a letter? He said, let's see if we can get the funds from Bank of America. So I have to check on that.
Is she an option C?
She was an option A, so nobody should be
Right, so nobody
getting
should-
that money.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's sizable, it's roughly $8,000, $10,000. Fortunately, I was able to put a stop back in like October, so no other funds, but we didn't find out. Had Liz contact Quincy, they were able to confirm and give us a death certificate, but anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, it's right. It's just
it's a challenge.
Yeah, yeah. And it's curious as to why you have all this banking.
I do have a case number from Bank of America. They did say the funds were still in place. So supposedly supposed to be able to pull back the
You're
funds.
supposed to do this through Diane.
My wife started off.
I can get Diane involved, but you know what happens? I get Diane involved. Diane calls you, I get a call from you, and I feel like going in circles.
No, because Diane is.
When my wife worked at the state.
All right, I'll give her the
treasurer's
record. I'll give her.
office, She was in the time. Was to take, go over and go all the.
That's what Mary Gerber used to do.
Mary Gerber
Yeah,
used to
Gerber
do that
and Mary
every day.
Claire. Yeah.
She would
yeah.
sit at her desk and go
Yeah.
through the papers.
Yeah, Liz does that occasionally, but
It's kind of hard.
yeah, and
Well,
Sometimes I don't put it in the paper, yeah.
well,
Sometimes not.
I was gonna say some of our retirees are snowbirds or permanent residents down in Florida and elsewhere, so sometimes that's a challenge too.
Sorry, what do I do? I'm
There, when
I'm
we,
only catching up.
Checking obituaries from time to time.
Oh, yeah, it's tough to do it because you go online and they want you to pay for it and they're old. So the only reason why I found out Anne Bramante had passed away, I called Bridgewater's town hall. I found that she passed away, and they were nice enough to give me her next of kin, which was her niece. Her
Yeah, her niece is
grandchild.
also on the death certificate too, so, but she doesn't respond to any of
there are
them.
a couple of things. This is why we have the address verifications. So if you don't get it back or they don't come in, then you can question it. But when Juanita was here, and maybe Liz was alluding to this, there's some kind of a file or something you can subscribe to? That you can get.
Possibly, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about, Liz? There's something that you can,
Yeah, I mean, there are several, there's whitepages.com, there's 411.com.
No, no, no.
And so if you can get so much information, sometimes you can get, what you need, other times you can't. And then you got to figure out whether you're trusted or not. But
For those kind of things, I told her, I don't want those expenses because I don't know how reliable those things are.
exactly, we don't know how I think the best way to do it, if, like last year, I sent multiple letters to Anne Bramante, when they started getting returned, I sent a certified letter. And then from there, I had then called the town hall. I think that's the best route, because I called the town hall for Albert Randall, and they're like, he's, as far as they're concerned, he hasn't passed away, they don't have a death certificate. So that's the best route of going if you strike out everywhere. Because I don't know whether I trust those whitepages.com or that 411.com. And there's others. I'm not sure I trust it, because if you pay for it, I don't know, I just don't know.
The question is there an obituary service that you can subscribe to?
Well, I can get, like, I can like do a obituary, again, you just don't know the reliability of it, but I can check into it, and if we
Yeah.
pay for it, and after a year it doesn't, pan out, then we can just stop paying for it.
All right, Liz, put that on your to-do list.
Yeah.
We'll research it.
Yeah, let's take a
The
look
trouble
into
with
it.
getting everybody's obituary are people all over the country. I mean, a lot of them here, but Florida and California, and, they're all over the place.
We had a man, Eric Sutherland in Scotland.
Is he still around?
He passed away.
Oh, he did
And
pass
the
away?
law firm
Oh, I
sent me
remember
a
that one.
check in pounds. That's okay. I took it to the bank, and that took about a month to process because I had to do an exchange.
I remember that.
But yeah, unfortunately, my farthest person, Eric, never met him, but I always thought it was kind of interesting. I had somebody in Scotland, but he passed away in
If you have somebody
February.
in Ireland, maybe they passed away years ago.
Yeah,
We used to
maybe
have someone
before
in
me. I don't
Ireland.
recognize anybody in Ireland, though.
All right. Well, keep us posted on Mr. Brandel. I don't know whether
Yeah, I mean, I don't want
his neighbors.
to take
can-
right up there. I also don't like to just bang on people's doors, but I'm kind of frankly, I'm at a loss of words. I'm sitting on now like 5, 6 of his checks.
How old is he?
Liz.
Oh.
Liz. Albert Randall, what's his birthday?
Sorry, I was with a retiree.
Oh, sorry. Do you have Albert Randall in your PTG?
Yeah, his date of birth
Tell
is
me-
6/8/1941, June 8th, 1941.
What is he, 21?
41.
41?
Yep.
Means he's what,
80.
80 this year.
80? I can't.
But anyhow, I don't mind. I feel like that's, first of all, the demographic I serve, you have to kind of use white glove treatment sometimes. I don't mind taking a ride up there.
But don't expose yourself to any.
Well, I had sent out all those address.
No, I
verifications.
don't.
Maybe he'll sign that, and then we'll know he's still around.
Yeah,
had-
so,
I have required this year that they give me a phone number and or an email address. Last year and years it was optional, but no, I need a phone number at least. you
yeah.
know. So that's what I put on there. So hopefully he'll fill it out because he did last year. So
This happened this check for $9.78.
I just thought, okay, so the Hassenfusses are probably names well-known in the town. So the officer, younger one, who just retired with me like a year ago, he came in. I said, your wife is sitting on like a $10 check. I said, I'm gonna write it off. He goes, actually, that's not my wife. He goes, that's probably my sister-in-law, Laura Hassenfuss. So I said, I forgot. I know there's a bunch of you guys. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. What we do is there's 6, they happen to be ladies, but there's 6 people that their pensions are so small after health insurance that Chuck and I worked out a thing where we just offset, so I'm not sending out $8 checks. So we just reduce their health just by that amount. And yeah, she's one of them that check for like 10 has been hanging out there. Marty and I talk about every month. And
I mean, but is this her monthly check?
no, it's a one, that check was for just that 1 month.
Okay.
Ordinarily it would be, but when rates are changing this month too. But, so we caught it the month after.
Have we ever sent anything to abandoned property?
No,
Some
I
other
don't
way.
I don't know that you have a
don't have any
provision
abandoned
for
property, which is
abandoned
good.
property, the write-offs.
Yeah, Marty and I do very few adjustments. He did a few adjustments, in the transition year that stemmed from 18, I guess were necessary, but and we did as much research we could on before doing that. But since then, Marty and I don't do, write off like nothing material, like, yeah, and we barely ever write off anything. That's not needed.
Is that John Hassan first? How do you know? I mean, don't worry about it.
I think that's Laura Hassenfuss, so. No,
Okay.
I think she's on like a supplemental health insurance plan.
All right. Where are we
Budget,
with the budget? Are they up to date with the, are you up to date with the billing from accounting? Says,
Yes, this is, so this, are we looking at the budget?
yeah,
Yeah, so just due to the timing of like when we get our print reports, it's easiest to go back. So each month when we do a board meeting, I know it's a little confusing, but the financials that we present are always 2 months in
right, but
arrears.
I'm just saying, are they up to date on their billing? I mean, even though
Which-
it may not
which-
be on here,
Which one? What company?
like no, the staff, the town,
Yeah,
I'm sending you to, do they do it monthly now?
we talking about the office salaries?
Yeah.
From accounting?
Yeah.
Yeah, every month. Terry, I call her El Therese only because that's what her email says, but whatever her married name is. But Terry, and I know there's 2 Terrys in accounting, but not Terry Caruso, but the other Terry sends it to me electronically every month.
because it's only problematic on the last day of the year
Yeah,
when it gets kicked over into January.
Yeah, Michelle and I talked about that. I told her if you want it at the end of the year, then I can give her basically. the-
now, I know you said this, but is this fiscal year? Yes, okay,
Yeah, we
yes.
discussed that too, to kind of coincide best with the town. Just
And
for
this
this
is through
piece,
April.
we do our budget on the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Technically, everything else, the retirement systems are always set up on the calendar year. But this is more just internal for us anyhow, and sometimes it helps for like Dave Davis. too.
So
So
we
got a
should be
budget coming out.
doing a budget.
Yeah, I would present that to July.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay,
So when you come up with a new budget, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, even though all your hard work didn't really produce any answers to whether we can raise the, it isn't a board stipend, we gotta stop calling it that. We gotta know if we can raise that. So,
Which one, the first line
The
item?
3,000, I think, is a statutory amount for the treasurer.
I know, but they increase all the time.
Been that
Oh.
way for 37 years.
Yeah,
Well,
I did do some.
Which line item is that?
The first one.
$3,000, the treasurer, because
Oh,
yeah.
because he or she is
By the
custodian of
way,
the
Evie,
funds.
Evie does get that. We put it in staff salaries, the second line down, but nevertheless.
Yeah.
That's why it's 0 across the board, but there's a placeholder for 3,000.
Yeah.
But Evie does get that 250 a week or 250
So
a month.
when you put the budget on, you put it in 4,500.
I just have to double check what,
And then if we can't do it, it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
The budget is not
I
a.
did.
etched in stone.
Okay, I'll have to double check what we're permitted to do. And I'll give you guys all the lost citations on
And I
that.
want to
I bu-
ask.
yeah.
Eric. Say this is the situation. Why don't you answer our question instead of threatening us with memos about not filling out our finance.
Yeah, sorry
I
about
know,
that.
I know.
Sorry about
Has
that.
anybody turned theirs in? Because I haven't.
Yes,
I did find.
I've been
Have you
dealt,
done yours?
fine.
I did it yesterday.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
gotta do it today.
so,
I panicked when I read that.
so I'm not
I
the
can never run
police,
before the
but I
gun.
get the
Oh my God, I'm
emails
going to
from,
jail.
no, I get
That's how I
the,
got one from
I
Rose
get them
yesterday.
from Rose, I get them from
Yeah.
Tom. But you guys are all in good, I know, yeah, Sandy, try to get it done. But other than that, everyone else finally
Yeah,
got
I
it
had a
done.
problem because I use, you have to go,
Yeah, use Chrome.
do not use Internet Explorer.
Yeah, use Chrome.
Chrome,
Oh, you can do it
because-
online?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did it through.
All right.
you actually
Bradford.
have
All right,
to,
I'll
you have to do it online because Bob, we tried to get it
Yeah.
not online, but we got pushed back to
I
have.
can just do it here, right? I don't need
Yeah.
access to
Yeah,
anything.
no,
It
I
should
did.
take
It
you
took me
about-
5 minutes.
Yeah, it should take like no more than 10
I'll
minutes.
do it today.
But if you get an Internet Explorer, you get this weird question.
Yeah,
And
no,
it-
I
then it
use
locks you
Chrome
up.
or,
But the
And that's why
key-
before I had to
the
call.
key to
George, I can't
remember,
do it again.
and Parrot told me that. Question 1, no.
See, Abby, that's what I was telling you last night.
One.
It asked you something
Oh.
about,
Abby, remember that last
I
night?
think what it's asking you is you
Yeah.
are under investigation
Yeah.
by,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's where I got hung up.
yeah.
but not everybody gets that question. Bob
But if you
didn't.
go in through Chrome, you
Yeah,
don't
I
get it.
guess I don't
I did.
remember.
Oh, okay.
So it has something to do with Internet Explorer, which we get a lot. We have some banking that we can't do in one, but we have to do it in the other.
But Tom Donnelly, he said that. He said, look, Bob, first thing, question 1, no.
Yeah.
He
It would
said
get
it's
it
very
crazy.
confusing.
Yeah, no, that was helpful that you told me that, because I
Yeah.
told her that too.
Yeah,
So,
but then Jake's going, well, did somebody call you or get in touch with you about filling out this?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, no, not.
Then we figured out, it looked funny on her screen. And I said, you know what, let's try Chrome. I don't think this looks right. And it worked fine after that, so. But they don't tell us that.
Hey, do you think, is Fall Mavericks gonna get canceled?
No, I believe they're gonna
Oh, they
have the
have it?
Springfield one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned that in the conference.
Mm.
But
Did
anyway,
anybody attend that? I attended that.
I did.
yeah,
conference,
yeah, I think, yeah, there's a handful of us that attended.
And I saw on the thing that I have my credits,
Yeah, yeah.
which I was, oh,
I know, I
Yeah.
gotta check.
Credits are right.
Let's check my credits, make sure I got
I
them.
have my credits already. I don't know how I got them, but I have them.
Well, I'm just ahead of myself. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
don't think
first
I have
time. I'm
it. I don't
usually
think I have any
scrambling at the
credits.
end of, at the end, yeah, December 29th, I'm scrambling to do online things so I can get my
Well,
credits.
yeah, so, yeah, they've been a little relaxed because they have canceled some things. They offer some educational opportunities, like watching a webinar online. I can always help anybody with any of this. Plus, they also have like a medical waiver if you could never, for instance, if you couldn't make it out to Springfield. By the way, it's not mandatory. I think it's mandatory to attend one of them, which if you attended the spring one. But nevertheless, if you wanted to go out to Springfield in the fall, but if you couldn't, as a hardship, they have a medical waiver. I think Bob knows about that, but we,
Springfield's fun, but.
Yeah.
Well,
it's,
yeah, I
they have
did.
it out
I
here
filled
at
out all
the
these
casino.
forms about
Oh, yeah,
medical
So
I
we
know
go to
waivers.
the
that. I know
casino
the
all the
casino
time,
thing.
it's great, yeah.
Completely
I'm going to
ignored.
Yeah, I
Do
was
they?
going to that,
Oh,
Joe
I
comes,
never
it's
got
good, it's fun.
I thought that they did.
You
thought
If
they
I know that, I
were-
would have done this one.
You gotta get, still get the
You
credit.
never have too many credits.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I haven't got any recently, so I'm in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Well,
Well, they usually- they use-
Casino there.
Yeah, Springfield's fun, I was just telling Bobby, that's good.
Yeah, Bobby, you'll have to go to Springfield.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so.
We have to go to the
Matter of
Rose,
fact,
is it the Red Rose, or what
It
is that
showed it,
place?
didn't it show it in one
That
of the,
restaurant, the Red
Oh,
Rose,
the one
was
with,
it?
oh, yeah, the red
The right next
Rose.
door, yeah,
With the
that
big
was fun.
meatballs. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
God, that
it
was
showed
really
it in
nice.
something, it showed a crab table.
Yeah.
And was it in the conference and stuff? They were talking about Springfield.
Oh, yeah, they do. Sometimes they do. What do you call those?
We had a night excursion
casino
or
night.
something, yeah.
Where
But I
you
mean,
don't
it
win
showed
money
it,
or
the conference,
anything.
it showed it, they were
Yeah.
advertising, it
Yeah.
showed a crab
Yeah.
table.
No, that's just the night thing, that's not
That's
during the
just
conference.
after.
No,
the-
no, I know.
After the conference, but it's
I
just
thought
kind
it
of
was
like
actually in the
usually-
casino, I thought it was in the
No,
same.
it's at a hotel right down the street.
Down
They
the
rent
street.
shuttle
right down the street.
not
But
the
they
best
have,
part.
Because you really don't want to walk.
they can do, they do a casino night and the money that you
Sure,
pay to
well,
buy
you
the
don't
chips,
The dog.
charity. You
Oh,
don't really
okay.
win any money.
Yeah, well, it's okay, yeah.
But the casino, you
Fun,
can
yeah.
win money. The real casino. Yes, correct.
Keep you guys posted, man, of course.
See, we couldn't talk like this on the screen,
I know.
it stinks.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
So, yeah,
So we're
the
good
stipends,
with the
I'll,
budget. Anybody have any other questions on the budget?
No.
And make sure that we continue to maintain the management fees.
yeah, I've been tracking those, and on the
And-
right
And
hand,
would you tweak what's his face about getting that breakdown for us that we'd asked for?
yeah, Francesco, that's a
Yeah,
challenge.
that should not be
Okay.
something difficult to do.
Yeah,
You
well,
get it from their accounts receivable department, you know, maybe you have to go that route. Call accounting, is their accounting department. I know they have a lot of participants, I know they have $90 billion or whatever it is. But somebody said out of the books.
yeah,
We asked them for some. Is that what you're talking about?
we did, and they probably
What-
forgot. I haven't really dinged them,
They didn't forget.
but They didn't,
They don't want to.
it's,
We've been asking for years.
it's a little, conspicuous how Marty and I had to ask them, not only multiple times, but in roundabout ways to try to help them. And, it just doesn't, it's just been a little frustrating with that, but I'll circle back with them.
We kind of took a different approach. Well, maybe I took a different approach
Well,
in that you go to the accounting department, somebody's got to do the allocation. If it's based on on something that we have in the Brit fund,
mhm,
right?
Mhm.
It should be, they have to do an allocation amongst all of the participants.
Mhm.
Somebody's got to do the math.
Yeah.
It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah,
Find the backup for it, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
so they
that's
know
what
what
we're
to
asking
build.
for.
I
So it's not
think, I think the
written, created.
information we asked for was a comparison, 2019, 18, 19, and 20 on, how many people you have, what your salaries are, what your bonuses are, and that kind of thing. They don't want to give us that. We'll file under the freedom of information,
Yeah.
really.
No, we
stick
could do
it.
that. Because I would, it's public information. So
I would assume probably.
It is, because the Boston Globe even did a write-up.
I remember when I asked Paul Tedesco I wanted to see what our investments are. And I was assuming I was going to get, like I get with other companies,
Alexis.
an investment statement. I got like 4 FedEx full of paper. They just did. They
Yeah,
just
do
sent me
that.
all this paper. They said, here, you want it? Here.
No.
I didn't even open it. I didn't even, open it.
That's sticking it to you.
Chris,
Yeah.
I like that idea, to an employee request.
I mean, we're entitled.
We need Sacco to do it for us.
I mean, what really bugs me about those people, the return was 12% or something. And they sit there and say, we did that. Our plan, we did that. Well, they didn't do it. When you have a market that's been up 20, 25% in 2 years, you can't lose. And they sit back there and say, oh, and besides, we're charging you $900,000. Anyways,
Yeah.
here we go.
Well, let me just leave it at this. So yeah, those were good inputs too, which I didn't actually think about. So I have those in my back pocket as our last resort. But I did tell Francisco one time, Francisco, sales is very important, but he's more on the sales side of things. I told him, I said, look, Francisco, you guys actually have to know what to build people. So can you put me in touch with somebody in your accounting department? I never heard back. So I can still make my own calls, but I was trying not to burn that bridge and relationship with him and have him come back to me and say, gee, why are you going behind my back and doing this
well,
and that?
because you didn't respond.
Yeah, I feel like, well, answer my
I
question.
mean, if I don't
Yeah.
respond to somebody, they go to Dave. I mean,
So
it's simple.
I'll try again, and this time maybe contacting them directly in that department and see if I can make any headway there. If I still meet resistance, then yeah, maybe do a FOIA request, we should have Michael do it on our behalf.
Yeah. My would be the best thing. Okay, the actual, where are we?
Everything is in Siegel's hands.
Okay,
Their requirement list, whatever you want to call it, is pretty manageable. It's about 10 items. Marty and I got all that stuff to them probably a good 2 weeks ago now. So I'll follow up, see if she can provide us anything for the July meeting.
yeah, that was,
Hanson across the hall, they give us about 35 items. It's in 2 parts. Everything in the first part that was required of us, we uploaded to their SHAP website. Now when they're on site, I've been working through the second half of that, 17 through 35 items. And then simultaneously, they're now across the hall. They start to come with certain testing questions, but that's going on schedule.
how long are they gonna be here? The auditors,
Well,
you
I
know?
think they're also doing the town.
They're doing town, which I
So-
thought, I was told they were next week, and then I have an auditor show up at my door.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So I feel like they're kind of trying to put us out first and then go to the town, but last year it seemed like they lingered for a while getting us the final
Yeah,
report.
they should stay. I mean, this is a preliminary, so this really isn't a
Yeah.
final, but
So, but I'm hoping to have everything, plus I want to get them out of my hair. I'm too busy, but I'm hoping by midweek next week to give them everything they asked for. Really, at that point, the follow-up questions are few and far between because I've given them a thorough data.
we kept updated on that.
Yeah. The JM disability that attended the last meeting, yes, Chris, I was impressed with his attorney Colin, I should say. He drafted the 2 letters for us.
Okay,
I uploaded those to Prosper, which you have to do. Then from there, I don't exactly know the back end process, if the doctors that they have working with the state log into Prosper, or does someone on Prosper's side send those to the doctors? But we've done our part. Now we have to wait for the clarification. So
That was kind of, sometimes I don't think about after the meeting.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a disturbing meeting. That gentleman definitely had a chip on his shoulder. The system failed him. But the town system or our system, but, so I went through.
There are a number of people that do that job,
Yeah,
and it's,
but the matter is the system, he collected workers' compensation for $800 a week. I mean, the system seemed to work there. I think that's tax-free.
I think it is.
He collected what?
It's
How much he
interesting.
collect?
I'm sorry.
$881 a week.
Or how- so,
It was from January 19 to September 20.
And then he settled.
And then he settled. So how much did he settle for?
I don't know. You have to get that too, because there may be an offset.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a dicey thing because we're separate from the town. I'd have to ask Michael if the town is required to give us that. I'm
They
not
should
sure.
give you that.
then we still
amount.
have to vote, we haven't voted.
No.
So,
And what was interesting at the conference, the online thing, virtual thing, they said that people's history can be taken into account when you're doing a disability. And this young man has a history. So that kind of went, when I heard that,
I haven't changed.
So I don't know that we want to go down that road, but I'm just saying, they're saying we could consider their history. I mean, work history and any issues that have happened at work. And there have been some, in considering.
Well, look, the gentleman is 50. He could possibly get a tax-free retirement, 30 years.
Yeah.
Now, that money isn't coming out of my pocket or maybe some of your pockets, but it's coming out of what our people, have deposited into the fund. And we need to protect that.
No, you're right.
And,
So going through the system or going to the doctors and all that, doesn't mean anything, I guess?
Well, no, it does.
well,
It does.
oh, yeah.
It does.
The other thing I didn't see, and I might have missed it, but I get confused from all the doctors. Did he have a physical when he came?
We have pre-employment.
I'd have to double check. Some people that have worked a long time, ask Chuck for those forms, and some, whether they got a physical when they started, I don't know, but they were not able to furnish that. I don't know if it was for him, but
I didn't see.
Right.
I know you guys don't like Prosper, but all his files are also uploaded into Prosper. But I can look too. I don't remember if he had a
There
pre-employment
was a
physical.
period of time where the town didn't have a doctor,
And
still don't
he
think we
isn't
do.
invested yet.
No, that's the trouble.
He's not even vested. No,
He doesn't have any options. He can't go ordinary,
no.
he can't go accidental. So some guy comes away and said, "Tap for disability." I mean,
And you have to remember what the things that he said during the discussion. You know, and you have to, what I did was I applied, you know, just a general kind of logic to it. Like, okay, so you were in a device that was banging your head and you were getting banged up badly, and you continued on.
Right.
You know, and you called your supervisor and your supervisor said, keep on with it.
I don't think
That
so.
doesn't happen.
I don't
And
think so.
he's not the only person that does that job for the town.
No.
Well,
So
how
why
come-
don't we have a slew of those
How come we
issues,
don't, like you said,
you know?
the issues, how come we don't sit down with his bosses and things like that?
We can have a hearing.
You know, go over things like that. You know what I mean?
We can technically not really subpoena them, but we can request that they attend. Sure. We can do that, but, you know, what we've done in the past and it really doesn't provide
Yeah.
anything, but you can. I mean, I'm not saying not to.
I just feel bad if
We
he,
can.
maybe he's got issues, yeah, but if that really happened, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
you know what I mean?
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
But also, why was there no mention about any lacerations or any bruising or contusions or anything in his head? Did we not, was I the one that heard that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I heard.
you know, there was nothing said when he went to
Yeah.
be checked out, you know?
I just
So-
want, I just like to know for a fact, if he had this neck injury and somebody put him in that, I mean, those machines are tough, believe me.
Oh, I'm sure that.
But I mean, did he have this injury and then somebody put him in a sidewalk plow to bang, you know, the hard. You know, I know what they were trying to do because it got cold like that day or two later.
Yeah.
And they want to open up the sidewalks for the kids. You bang, I mean, did somebody actually put him in that, knowing about his neck injury and that? I don't know.
If he had the injury prior to employment,
Well,
we don't.
That's
And
right.
did one of the doctors specify that it was a degenerative thing that, you know, was lying dormant?
It was, yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
we all can have that, you know, but I know someone that was walking down a flight of stairs and broke her leg, you know, like it was cancerous. I mean, did she have the right to sue the people who own the house because she, you know, so.
No. It's tough. See what- Sometimes they just act with the same thing they submitted originally and you don't really get it.
Really did a cancer. At work at farm. I assume we get back what he did financially.
And being like, oh, you know, you do that, you know. The
Well, after
town,
the settlement, I guess my question is, and maybe I'm not even, I don't know, but can the town place somebody who's on workers? The
No,
answer is
because the
no.
position is still
I
open.
think when you were at FMLA, which is that the same as when you were on workers' comp, are you doing that? 'Cause
Well,
your job is only, your job is only
secure.
secure for 12 weeks.
Uh-huh.
On
Workers' comp
FMLA.
can go on for years,
Right,
and years
so-
and years and years.
They don't have to keep a job for someone, I don't think. I
Well, they
think,
terminated him because he said that, they
had
terminated
to-
him and he was on workers' comp. Okay, all right, so maybe you're right, they could fill it. Could fill the
they had a
position
need to
if
fill a
someone's on.
position, right, right. But let's say he, you know, was able to come back to work. Maybe he could have gotten a job doing something else, you know, I don't know.
Well, they always say, is there a light duty position that they could be doing as opposed to driving snowplow? You know,
No,
on the
exactly.
sidewalk.
Yeah,
And they say, no, there are no light duty positions.
there
So,
was a dispatcher or something like that.
yeah, it's just something
Well,
that
I
they
can
could do
see-
in the office or, you know.
Yeah,
I could see, police, fire, not having like assignments unless you're a dispatcher.
that's what they did before, they
But
put
that's
you,
a profession unto
they
itself.
put you on the desk, now they're all, they're all permanent, it's a different,
Anyway,
I'm just gonna get my
I
PowerPoint.
just- I
battery's
just-
getting low.
wanted to vent my frustration.
it's just too bad, you think every department has something.
Like 90%.
Something like that.
The next one, who is that person? I don't remember this. Under number 14. Do we know this?
Yeah, we submitted both of their applications to accept their applications at the same time.
Do we have the results of the doctors? I know you probably have everything in Prospers, but you
Is it
know,
Prosper? We'll just
some of
look.
us do like to see
Oh, yeah, we
paper.
can turn right on, jump right out, so.
Do you remember?
All right, so what I'll do is, as I kind of alluded
I
there,
just need to know the results of the medical panel
Yeah.
on DL, just 3 yeses, 2 nos, whatever.
anyway, I was gonna put the package together in a week or two for you guys, and you'll be all ahead of the July. So you guys can kind of.
When is the July?
You're not- We can move it. Okay. The meeting remotely. Long pandemic that said that a member, this is a comment from the state, the state is doing now, that a member could participate remotely
Mhm.
for whatever reason. Our board voted no, they didn't want to accept that. But now, after the pandemic and everything, and now that there's possibility that we could have remote meetings, I believe we have to vote on this. To accept that. Getting the- Yeah, we have to vote to allow remote participation according to CMR 2910, vote applying to all subsequent meetings of that public body and its committees. Clearly, we're gonna have to do something if
Yeah,
John's
right.
gonna participate remotely, because this isn't working. You should have put it up here on screen, on the big screen.
So do you want a motion?
So I do need a motion to
Accept
to
CMR 6.
vote to allow remote participation in accordance with requirements of 940 CMR. Liz, can you get all this?
I can't hear anything. It's too much background noise.
Okay, we're on page 31 of the packet.
Right, yeah, I'm there.
Okay, and then the vote would be, the board would vote to allow remote participation. It's right within the write-up. I have a motion to allow remote participation in accordance with the requirements of 940 CMR 29.10. But that vote applying, it's that paragraph, the very first paragraph. Okay? All right. I'm sorry, I have a motion to that effect. Do I have a
So
second?
moved. Second?
You can't make a motion in second.
No, you,
Oh.
no, you said you looked, no. that's okay. Why can't I?
I don't know, maybe you can. I never thought
Well,
about
just
it.
don't
What kind
do
of
it.
a motion
Just don't
says I
do
can
it.
Do that. Right.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jake, one question.
Hi, how you doing?
If the governor signs the legislation, does that take precedence over this? Does it make any difference?
I would,
Find that out. Anybody know?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know the answer to that.
Difference.
That's a lawyer question.
Lawyer question?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a legal question. I don't,
Well, we'll wait and see, but anyway, we've got ourselves
usually
covered.
if they're gonna edit or change a law, they would have to hearken and change some of the language. So like in chapter 32, a lot of times you'll see like H, and then you'll even see like a disclaimer. This was changed, blah, blah, blah. So, because they can't have two contradicting laws
Well,
on
the
the books.
legislation doesn't say you can't have it in any form. It says, you know,
Well, I think the legislation says, and I'm not positive, is that the chair and I believe one other member have to be physically present. Everybody else can participate remotely. I think that was what it was.
I have the full
Beginning, but
CMR.
I don't know
I
what
didn't
ended
include
up
it, but
happening.
I think I included an email to Sandy, but, yeah, I mean, truthfully, that would be best served to have Michael speak to it or something.
We established a policy, or I lost the word, regarding credible service and operation of credible service. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to review that to make sure that our procedure, whatever you call it, was in compliance with what they were saying at the meeting. So and we need to look at that particular,
I was thinking what Bob said too, when you asked me to kind of put this in here for a discussion point, especially because Michael spoke, it might be good to ask him to attend the next meeting and maybe, give his advice and explain, a little bit. Because I was listening during the conference, I'd have to kind of, listen to it again.
have to see what our procedure.
Like if you look at the takeaways on the last page,
I mean, yeah, this is not what I wanted. I wanted a copy of our procedures, our regulations. That's
yeah,
what
we
I'm
don't have
sorry.
it though. There's,
Yes, we do. The regulation that was established when Anita was here regarding creditable service, because the discussion came up several times. So we
Okay.
do have a regulation, it's a board regulation
okay,
regarding
I'll double look.
proration of service. So that probably got thrown away too with everything else.
By the way, like one alternative.
But
like
it
main
should have been filed with PERAC too.
True, but just so you know, one alternative also is to do nothing and let the law that stands. That was one of the, like, if you look at the takeaways on page
This
38.
is the board decision.
No, I know, but but they covered that where boards that have no regulation, Dow and Crab upheld, I think it was the Wellesley board. Well, they didn't want to give the same service that the client and their attorney wanted, and they went all the way to Dow and Crab. And because Wellesley did not have a regulation, they upheld Wellesley's board to that level.
Yeah, I mean, we have to have a regulation. We have to have a board regulation regarding the proration of creditable service. And we do have a regulation to that effect.
Okay, I'll look up the board
So if you
regulations.
could get that out, I want to go over that. And I don't know that Michael Sacco needs to come out to discuss it. I mean, I think it's too expensive for him to come out to discuss it. Maybe putting something together and sending it to him for his to, look over, would be okay. But I think we have to get something on the books that is, we used to just give everybody a year, even no matter what they worked. We just gave them a year. That's the way we always did it. And then it got to a point where it wasn't fair to the people that, because what we always did that their benefit, because they weren't making as much money as a full-time person, so giving them a year's creditable service really wouldn't give them more of an enhanced benefit. Gave them more years, but their earnings would have been lower. But that theory kind of went out the window. So we did put together something. I think Juanita put together something and the board did discuss it. So I know that there's a regulation out there that we do have, and then hopefully it was filed with PERAC, so you could probably get it from them if you can't find it in the office. That's all.
Well, it must be back in minutes. It must be in some minutes.
Yeah.
So we could research the minutes when
Minutes,
she was
yeah.
here, right? We have the minutes
We should have
when
all
she
the
was
minutes.
here.
We gotta have-
So could we do that?
Yeah.
If we can't find it,
Okay,
forever researching minutes.
okay. Does anybody have anything else?
Yes. So, in the Herald in February, and this has nothing to do with, there was a board. The chairman was a triple dipper,
Oh, triple.
and the board paid him $30,000 a year to run the retirement board.
Okay.
One of the board members was an attorney who did their legal work, and they paid him $95,000 for the year to do that. There were $235 in fraudulent bills paid where nobody even looked at them.
Oh, I saw, I sent you a thing on this.
Did you?
Yes. What was the board? It was,
It was the county,
yes.
Camden
You
County.
remember? I sent you a thing. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bring it up because I think you should congratulate yourself because nothing like that happens here.
No.
Right.
And
I remember
and
one
the
thing.
last sentence is what really got me in the article. It said, if this is going on in Agawam, what is going on with the other 106?
Of course.
And that really bugged me.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
But because we all have the ability, and we all do, we question everything. We review everything and we question everything. They just rubber stamped or in many
Good.
cases didn't even look.
And, you know,
They won't make it out, that's why.
yeah.
I'll see if I can find that. I'll send it to everybody.
We have one instance, I'll never forget it. When Claire was retired from the board, she was chair, like me, for years.
Yeah,
and years and years and years. Remember Claire? And when she left, we bought her a nice necklace. And we paid it out of the retirement system.
Oh.
We didn't think anything of it.
No.
Auditors came in, it's $110, I remember. The auditors came in and they said, you can't do this. And I'm like, okay. I wrote them a check.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I got the money from the other board members.
Yeah.
But I immediately pulled out my checkbook and I wrote a check for 110 and gave it to, I said, see, I'm giving the
I
money.
want to go to jail.
Because it was like, I felt like they were gonna take me in handcuffs.
Where did they,
Because
where
of
did
this
you serve your
$110.
sentence? Where did you serve your sentence?
Well, I didn't, I gave them a check. Yeah, but that's the
Oh,
only
yeah,
time I
yeah,
really
but
got nervous.
In that article, Eric's comment was, because this guy went to the spring conference on the Cape.
Oh,
$1,188 per room. Because
but it was his own, but was
But it
it his own place. That's right. Yes.
that was the only thing Eric was after a while. Hello, I mean, you know.
They want to make it look good.
Anyway,
And there was stuff that they went
I'm
through.
gonna
with our
find
audit.
that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I might still have it. I mean, it's an
Look and
interesting.
see, yeah, because I know I've got it attached to an email.
Yeah, it's in the Herald, Howie Parham.
Okay. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the audit, you were even involved in it when Juanita was here
Oh,
and the auditors came in.
Was,
Oh my
and
God.
before I was even part of this, dare I bring this up? Or can we adjourn?
yeah.
Adjourn.
motion.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Got a
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Opposed?
Okay.
We're adjourned.
So